In the heart of the bustling city, a scrappy little dog named Scruffy searched for somewhere to belong, weaving between hurried feet with hopeful eyes. The tempting smell of hot dogs made Scruffy's empty stomach growl, but the vendor's gentle wave sent him on his way, still hungry but undeterred. Pressing his nose against the bakery window, Scruffy dreamed of warm treats inside, his reflection showing a lonely pup with an unbreakable spirit. Navigating crosswalks like a seasoned city dweller, Scruffy dodged skateboarders and rollerbladers, his determination never wavering in his search for home. As dusk painted the city in golden hues, Scruffy rested on a park bench, small against the vast urban landscape, yet still wagging his tail with hope. Meanwhile, a bright-eyed girl named Mia enjoyed her sandwich in the park, humming happily, unaware that her life was about to change forever. Scruffy approached cautiously, his curious eyes fixed on Mia, wondering if perhaps this kind-faced girl might spare a morsel for a hungry pup. With a gentle toss, Mia shared her bread, and Scruffy caught it mid-air, his tail becoming a blur of joy at this simple act of kindness. The first touch of Mia's hand on Scruffy's head felt like magic, a connection forming between them as he leaned into her gentle pat with pure bliss. Side by side, they strolled through the park, no longer strangers but newfound friends, the beginning of an adventure neither could have imagined. Mia knelt with treat in hand, her eyes meeting Scruffy's with a challenge that sparked his intelligence and eagerness to please his new friend. "Sit!" commanded Mia, and Scruffy attempted his very first trick, flopping clumsily onto his haunches with one ear adorably covering his eye. Success! Clapping and cheering, Mia celebrated Scruffy's achievement, his heart swelling with pride as he caught the well-earned treat in his mouth. Nothing in the world felt better than Mia's ear scratches, Scruffy's tail wagging so hard it seemed it might fly off into the cheerful park air. Practice made perfect as Scruffy mastered sitting on command, their bond growing stronger with every trick, every cheer, every moment together. Up the rope ladder they climbed to a magical treehouse glowing with fairy lights, Scruffy following Mia into a world of childhood wonders. With passion in her voice, Mia shared Scruffy's story with her friends, the scrappy pup sitting proudly by her side, finally belonging somewhere. Ideas flowed as the children brainstormed, sketching plans for Scruffy's very own doghouse, while he watched with tilted head and curious eyes. Mischief struck as Scruffy nudged a marker off the table, making Mia laugh. Even his playful mishaps brought joy to their planning session. As evening painted the sky outside their treehouse, the children finalized their plan, Scruffy's excited bark sealing the deal. Operation Doghouse was on. The next day, Mia and her friends marched through the city with empty backpacks and hearts full of purpose, Scruffy leading their supply-gathering expedition. With a nose for treasures, Scruffy discovered wooden planks at a construction site, earning proud pats from Mia as the first pieces of his future home. At the hardware store, the friendly shopkeeper donated bright paint cans, Mia's grateful smile and Scruffy's thumping tail impossible to resist. A soft blanket from the donation bin brought comfort to their collection, Scruffy nuzzling it appreciatively as Mia giggled at his approval. Triumphant, they returned to the park at sunset, arms laden with supplies and Scruffy prancing proudly with a stick in his mouth, his contribution to the cause. Hammers tapped, and planks connected as the children built with determination, Scruffy watching nearby, his tail wagging at the miracle taking shape before his eyes. Chaos ensued when a paint can rolled away, Scruffy pouncing playfully and ending up with a splash of blue on his nose, much to Mia's delight. With careful brush strokes, Mia painted Scruffy on a wooden sign, the once nameless stray now having both an identity and a home to call his own. The bright red roof crowned their creation as Scruffy bounded around the working children, his excited barks cheering them on in the final stages. Standing proudly around the finished doghouse, the children admired their work as Scruffy peeked inside his very own home, his furiously wagging tail saying everything. Dark clouds gathered suddenly, unleashing a downpour that sent Scruffy scurrying under a park bench, shivering as lightning illuminated his frightened eyes. Through the rain, Mia ran, polka dot umbrella in hand, her worried calls for Scruffy carried away by the howling wind and pounding raindrops. Finding him trembling beneath the bench, Mia knelt down with her umbrella, Scruffy's eyes lighting up with relief at the sight of his faithful friend. Together they battled the storm, making their way to the doghouse that stood waiting like a lighthouse in the tempest, promising shelter and safety. Curled up inside his new home, Scruffy stayed warm and dry while Mia stood in the rain, soaked but smiling. The doghouse had passed its first important test. Days later in the sunny park, Mia taught Scruffy to roll over beneath a banner announcing Scruffy's talent show, their training filled with laughter and treats. On stage, Scruffy attempted his rollover, tumbling clumsily onto his back, with a goofy grin that charmed the audience more than any perfect trick could. Neighbors and friends clapped and cheered as Scruffy took a playful bow, Mia beaming with pride beside her star performer, who was once just a lonely stray. With newfound confidence, Mia announced Scruffy's next trick to the eager crowd, the little dog's tail wagging in anticipation of showing off his hard work. Success! Scruffy completed his perfect rollover to thunderous applause, the park bursting with celebration for the scrappy little dog who had captured everyone's hearts. Mischief returned as Scruffy snatched a red ball from a vendor's cart, eyes twinkling with playfulness as he bounded away on another spontaneous adventure. Spotting the furry thief, Mia laughed and called her friends, turning Scruffy's mischief into a game that would soon have the whole neighborhood joining in. Through city streets they raced, dodging bicycles and leaping over puddles, Scruffy leading his parade of giggling children on a joyful wild chase. Pausing to look back, ball firmly in mouth, Scruffy's eyes twinkled with fun as if to say, "Catch me if you can," before darting off again into the colorful market. Finally, Scruffy dropped the ball at Mia's feet, children collapsing in laughter around him as his happy barks echoed through the park. Mission accomplished! The park transformed with balloons and streamers for a special celebration, Mia tying a red bandana around Scruffy's neck, his very first collar and symbol of belonging. Contentment shone in Scruffy's eyes as he munched a treat from the party table, Mia watching with a smile, knowing that sometimes family is found in unexpected places. Dancing and playing, the neighborhood children celebrated with Scruffy, the once lonely stray now the center of attention and affection in their tight-knit community. With heartfelt words, Mia officially welcomed Scruffy to their family, the adoring look in his eyes saying he had finally found what he'd been searching for all along. As sunset painted the city in warm hues, Scruffy barked happily among his friends around his doghouse, no longer a stray, but home at last, surrounded by love.